So, sorry about the poor lighting, first of all. Like everything else in India, it sucks. And that should probably tell you that I've not had the best time since Kashmir. Now, if you saw the Kashmir video, you'll know that I was conned by a bunch of crooks into buying a tour that was well overpriced. And then when I called them out on it, they threatened throwing me into a river and told me to go F myself and that I could get the F out of India if I didn't like it. Things aren't that bad, but I just haven't had any experience of people being genuine or nice. Well, actually one, I've only had one, and it's nearly 2 weeks now. Everyone else I've met has just been trying to con me, trick me, to mug me off in some way, and it's been really taxing. Really, really horrible actually, and it's made India the only disappointing country that I've been in. What I will say is that I got to Delhi and I was out of the grasp of these people because I paid for a hostel rather than being one of the hotels they put me into, and that was such a sense of relief. But that relief was quickly quashed when I tried to get a tuk-tuk to a meeting point for a tour. The tuk-tuk driver said he knew where I was going, we agreed a price, went up the road away from his competition of the other tuk-tuk drivers, then decided, oh no, I don't know where you're going, and got me to get out the car, the tuk-tuk, and then left me stranded. Luckily I knew my way back, but by the time I did get back to where the tuk-tuks were, I was quite clearly going to be late for the pickup for my tour, and so I ended up missing it. This is where I would have told you about the spice market, but instead it's just a little doodle of a character I made. My next stop was Agra to see the Taj Mahal and Agra Fort. Now, the Taj Mahal is amazing. It's just mental how big it is, and it's beautiful, it's just stunning. Like, I could see why it's one of the seven wonders of the world. It's just the most amazing thing to see. You can't quite get your head around how big it is. And then the Red Fort was cool, very cool. It's a lot like all the other forts in India, and the size of it is huge as well. But after Taj Mahal, everywhere in Agra was a little bit lackluster. Again, scams galore, but the one that I'm going to mention here is that I'm pretty sure the hotel I stayed at, which was one that was booked by the guy in Kashmir, gave me food poisoning so that I'd stay longer. Now, when I'd heard about this from other people, I thought it was like insane, it was paranoia. No one would do that. Having been in India now for a few weeks, yeah, I totally believe it. And, you know, I just ate a pasta dish. Like, how hard is it to cook pasta? And instantly sort of felt the effects, but took a load of drugs so that I'd be okay, because I certainly wasn't going to stay there. And then as I was leaving, they tried to give me loads of coffee, and it's like, coffee has a really laxative effect, but they kept like saying, oh, you have a coffee with us, have a coffee with us. And then when the coffee came, they didn't really actually speak to me, they just made sure I drank the coffee. So I really do believe they did that, and that's why I've not stayed at any of the hotels that they've booked for me on this tour ever since, because, you know, they're all just con men dotted around this country. So I managed to get to Jaipur with the help of a lot of drugs, and I went to the elephant village and met Rani, and Rani is beautiful. Like, it was just so amazing, like looking into her eyes and seeing like how much of an old soul she had, and, you know, doing the painting and the riding, which apparently I was quite good at. You know, that was really cool too. But yeah, I'd heard a lot of horror stories from Thailand, and my friend has suggested this one as somebody that does treat elephants well, and that's what I saw. So after the elephant village, we went to Raju's mum's place, and she cooked us lunch, which was really nice. I even managed to get some down despite feeling quite ill. And then Raju took me around some of the local places, one that had appeared in the Marigold Express Hotel, or whatever the name of that movie is, and all for free, nothing, you know, no ask for tips or anything like that. He then got me to his tuk-tuk driver who was going to take me back, and I gave him his money, and he didn't even count it. I couldn't believe it. He didn't like go through it to check if it was all there. He didn't go through it, look and go, where's my tip? How much have you given me as a tip? To be fair, I'd given him 500, but he had no idea, you know, and the fact that he didn't do that was just so unexpected and so kind. I couldn't quite get over it, and it's sad that just that is enough to make me feel almost gushy when you consider that's something that you kind of expect elsewhere, you know. So I went on a tour on a tuk-tuk, which inexplicably doubled in price, but what was I supposed to do? I had to go there and then. But one of the stops I really enjoyed was a garden that had lots of different astronomical devices for measuring where the stars were in the sky. It's very interesting. This is one of the sites I was looking forward to, and when I saw it actually, it was really underwhelming. I had to take this photo from like halfway across the street because it's literally right by a main road, and it's actually a lot smaller than it looks like in this picture. Of course, I also got the standard henna tattoo for tourists, but the best bit has to be the Amber Fort. It was absolutely amazing, just so huge, so massive. To be fair, a lot like the other forts in India, true, but it was just very impressive. I did go to the Sun Temple as well and fed some monkeys, which was quite cool, but this was really impressive. So another thing, on my tour, I was taken to a lot of jewellery shops, and I knew the scam and I knew the deal, it was fine, but I was offered a free palm reading at one of the jewellery stores because one of the guys there was into all of that, and then he did this reading, which wasn't a palm reading, it was just him writing my name down and then writing a few numbers underneath, and he started telling me stuff that was completely wrong. Like, he asked me if I was from Australia. It's like, you don't need to be a clairvoyant to know I'm not Australian. And then he eventually said, oh yeah, but everything's going to work out for you, I see, everything's going to work out for you. I was like, how would you know? Like, you haven't told me one right thing yet. And then, of course, he went straight into, and also I see there's a stone that's going to be good for you. It's garnet, it's a red stone, and I see that would be very good for you. Like, we've got a few actually rings and bracelets that have that in. Can I show you? It'll be about 2,000 rupee for a ring. I'm like, are you kidding me? After all this, you're still trying to sell me stuff? Just get lost. But one of the worst scams I've ever seen. Just so shameless, it was ridiculous. So the next stop was Jodhpur, and I actually had a good tuk-tuk driver who didn't overcharge me, which was nice. The fort here is amazing and really ornate, and they have really great museums as well. I was still feeling really, really sick from the food poisoning in Agra, so it was nice to be able to sit down and look at things or make stops with the audio guide that they give you for free as part of your ticket. Now, my favourite bit was the armoury, which you're seeing now, and it had loads of different things, but a lot of weapons that looked like Voldo from Soul Calibur might have used, which I was really geeked out by, so that was cool. So, hello from Sri Lanka. I'm now recording the last bit of my video from outside of India. Hooray! And I don't know what that was. That was like some sort of revolutionary thing. I'm not causing a revolution at all. So, the last 3 days were in Jaisalmer, and this was a real turning point in my trip. I went to the fort, which is the only one that's actually inhabited, and I actually met people. Like, I met other travellers, and we went to the fort, we had food inside the fort, and we went and saw the people there, and it was actually really kind of fun. I also went into the desert, met this really cute dog, I made another friend, another canine friend in the desert, stepped out under the stars. Stars were great, they weren't as nice as when I was in Marrakesh or in previous trips when I'd been upstate New York, which was phenomenal. And then I went back to New Delhi, and New Delhi was kind of fun for the last few days because I met some more people who were super fun and really got me on a whole geek level. You know who you are. And I also collected my suit. Now, collecting my suit was a bit like when you get to the end of the game and you kill the boss, and then all of a sudden it has a second form. You're like, I thought I already dealt with you. I thought this was over. And that's how I felt about the suit, because I thought, I've come out of India, I'm over it, India can't bother me anymore. And then I tried it on today in Sri Lanka, and I was like, oh, come on, this was supposed to be a good thing. And the suit's all right, but it's certainly not like what I asked for. It's certainly not to my body shape at all. It's just a bit baggy, and it's certainly too big, and they hadn't made any of the alterations I asked for after my first fitting, which was kind of pointless because they didn't do anything. And so it left a bit of a sour taste. But as a first trial run, I've now got something to build on for future incarnations of suits and shirts. And I think I'm onto the right track with them, so that's it. But anyway, then I got the train to the airport. One thing about Delhi and India is actually the trains are pretty good. And got a flight, and now I'm in Sri Lanka with my mum, which is super fun and is just the tonic I needed after having been in India. So, Jaisalmer was great, and I'm sad that the rest of my experience in India wasn't as good as that, and I'm sad that I'm having to sort of tell you that India sucked, but that was my experience, and if you don't like that, then I'm afraid that you should probably have figured out a way for me not to experience all those sucky things that I did. So that's my opinion. You know, find your own, go and do your own thing. I will probably go back one day and go to Mumbai and go down to South India because I haven't been there, but maybe not in a hurry because it wasn't a great experience in North India. That's it. Better things, more things to come from Sri Lanka soon. Bye.